Hey squad, welcome back to Prepping with Sarge. First off, I want to say a couple things before I get into this video. Number one, if you're brand new to the channel, I truly don't care who you vote for. I really don't. As long as you're voting, I respect you. And as said many times on this channel in the past, that I really don't care if you're conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, whatever. Just it's good to take a stand on something. And if you're here to learn survival and preparedness, including financial preparedness, then I am here to teach you. Second point is, obviously, I am not a financial advisor. My lawyers require me to say to you that this is not financial advice. My channel is for entertainment purposes only. All financial transactions have some risk. Do your own due diligent research. And I am not responsible for your losses, all right? You do not have to do anything that I say in this video. This is just one man rambling on YouTube about his thoughts, and that's really all this is. All right, so let's get into this. So what we're talking about today is, how are you going to survive the next 4 years of recession if this recession continues? So let's just say it that way, okay? All right, so first thing is, you probably have heard the expression or the song, scared money don't make no money, right? So what exactly are we talking about with scared money don't make no money? Scared money don't make no money means to me that if you are just gonna sit on your money, or you're gonna put it in a savings account or something like that, then you're not even gonna keep pace with the inflation, especially the kind of inflation that we've been looking at since 2020. You're just not gonna be able to do that. So you're gonna have to take some financial risks if you want to keep pace with or beat inflation, right? Scared money don't make no money. Put it in a bank, you're actually losing money. That's a hard concept for people to understand, and I know people are intimidated by making investments and things like that, especially if you've never done it before or you weren't taught how to do it. But it's easier than ever to learn with YouTube videos and tutorials, and the costs of actually hiring a financial advisor, a real financial advisor, is actually come down quite a bit from where it was 20 or 30 years ago. So don't let your fear stop you from making choices that are going to put you in a better position 3 or 4 years from now. All right, number two, a lot of people, a lot of these financial gurus like to say things that are kind of boring, like, cut out those Starbucks coffees every day, stop eating your avocado toast. And I get it. I get why that ticks people off, but there is actually something to be said for cutting expenses. Is it going to be, cutting out that morning Starbucks coffee is not going to give you enough money to buy a house, of course, right? That's just obvious. But considering that, Starbucks coffees you're like looking at like $6.50, $7 for, something really basic. If you do that every day of the year, yeah, it is going to add up. It is going to add up, and it is going to be some money that you could have used to basically pay down some debt or just do something else good with, right? So where can you cut expenses? Well, the coffee is like the most obvious one, and I think people who are trying to save money or be frugal are making their coffee at home, right? But that's just one. So what about, I think one of the biggest expenses that people get caught up in right now is we live in a subscription-based economy, right? So just think about how many channels are you subscribed to that you're not even watching, right? Like, I'm talking about like your Amazon Prime, your Netflix, your Paramount Plus, right? There's a billion of them, and do you really need them all, right? So maybe you can like cut a few of them out or rotate around, keep one for a few months and then cancel it and watch another channels until you've used up all the content in there, right? Just be a little bit smart and frugal about this. I think most people know this one, but we'll just throw it out there just in case anyone hasn't thought about it. And think about other ways in your life that you might be able to cut some unnecessary expenses. I know when I was in my 20s, I was going out a lot and having a grand old time. It was a lot of fun. But looking back on it, I blew a lot of money just on a night out. So you got to even think about, I'm not saying stay in and don't have fun. Of course, you got to have some fun. You got to socialize. It's good for your mental health. But be careful about how much money you're spending when you're going out. Are you buying drinks for everybody at the bar? Are you buying drinks for all your friends? Are you doing the everybody buys around? Like that stuff adds up really quick. So it's okay to say, hey, I want to come out and hang out, but I'm being careful about my money. So I'm not going to participate if there's people buying a round of drinks. I'll just take care of myself, right? So maybe you get 1 or 2 drinks. And that's the difference between spending $20 out on a night out versus like $300. It's easy to get caught up in that. It's just another example of just pay attention to where your money's going. All right, number 3 is create passive income, and as much of it as you can, right? Think of all these different opportunities there are out there to create a way that you have money coming back to you on a regular basis. We are living in a time when a lot of economists are saying we're on the verge of massive layoffs. And some of this has already started in the tech industry. We've seen a lot of layoffs going on in the tech industry, but there's going to be more coming across all sectors. And the further we go into the development of AI and automation, more and more sectors are going to be replaced with these things, including my primary job. I'm a therapist by trade, and I used to think, well, that's one of the trades where they'll never be able to replace us with robots. Wrong. There's actually several companies that I know of that are developing AI therapists. Truth be told, there's something, of course, for the human connection with the patient and doctor, or patient and therapist, right? There's something to be said for that. It's a huge factor in therapy, but a lot of therapy is also just algorithm, right? It's understanding how the brain works, understanding how our thoughts affect our feelings and emotions. And unfortunately, I hate to say this for my fellow therapists, but a computer can be taught to do that. And in some cases, maybe more effective than some of the therapists out there. So there will be people who choose this. I don't know how big it will become, but it will be an option, and it's probably going to be more affordable than human therapy. So all sectors eventually are going to get replaced. Or displaced, I should say, displaced. All sectors are going to be dealing with this. I'm going to have to take a different path. It's flooded out over here. So you've got to create that passive income. Let me see if I can walk around here. Dang it. I can't get to where I want to get to because the only other option is to walk through these leaves, and it's kind of copperhead country over here. Might not be going that way today. Sorry, folks. We'll take another way. All right, so what are some ways that you can do this? Well, you can, of course, invest in dividend-producing stocks, right? And this is easier than it ever was. Don't let your fear stop you from trying to do this. You can download free apps like Webull and Robinhood, and they're super easy to learn on. Throw $50 into start so you get comfortable with it, and maybe you invest in companies that you know that. And look for companies that are giving dividends, right? So companies that I invest in, I've talked about this before, are American companies that have been around for a long time that have, that's not to say I never invest in foreign stocks. I'm open to that. But companies that have been around a long time that have weathered through numerous recessions and still come out on top, right? So I'm talking about companies like Coca-Cola, I'm talking about companies like AbbVie Pharmaceuticals, I'm talking about companies like 3M and Caterpillar, right? I've told you a lot of the ones that I disclosed, a lot of the ones that I invest in myself. I'm not saying to do exactly the same thing that I do, just giving you some options, just a rambling man here on YouTube. All right, I might have a different way through here. Let's try this. So what are some other ways you can create passive income? Well, if you're an expert in something, and it's my opinion that all of you are an expert in something, then you can create online courses, right? And a lot of these sites are free or very, very low fee to set that up. And then when somebody goes and watches your course, you'll get a little passive income. If you're a content creator, you can sell merch, like this shirt actually that I have on, which you can't see the back of it, has my logo on the back, right? So I can sell merch, and that's a little bit of passive income, right? You can do, Amazon has a new influencer program. You can go on there and talk about products, and you can make some money if people buy products in that. Right? It's a kind of a new type of social media that they're putting together. So the sky's the limit. What if you had enough money to buy a laundromat, right? And then, you don't even have to staff it. Just put some cameras in there, and every week go and take your money out of the machines, right? Vending machines is another one. I know people who do vending machines, right? So these are all different ways where very, very little work is involved, but you're creating some income. If your primary source of income goes down, which it's going to for a lot of people in the next, this is probably thinking a little bit beyond the next 4 years, but in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to see more and more layoffs, more and more downsizing as companies are switching to AI and automation to replace us humans. So you're going to have some other sources of income. Don't sit on this now. It's time to get on this is now. So they actually closed off this path, so I can't go out here today to show you the rice fields. But the next thing that I was going to talk about it's another one of those boring topics, which is basically paying down debt, right? So interest rates are unfortunately going to remain high for the foreseeable future. The Fed has indicated that they keep dangling the carrot of cutting rates, but there's no timeline of when this is going to happen. It just keeps getting promised but not delivered, right? So even if they cut the rates by a couple points in the next year, which personally I think they're going to do it right before the election, but that's probably another video. Just watch for that. Remember, you heard it from Sarge first, that's going to happen right before the election. But even if they cut it by a couple points, it's still going to be high, really high. So you need to look at your credit cards and any other debt that you've got. And I know this is boring, but get the high interest credit cards and the high interest loans paid down as quick as you possibly can, because you're just basically opening the window and throwing money out the window when you've got that kind of debt going on. Do the best you can. I know everybody's struggling hand to mouth right now. I know that we've all been gaslit about like how great the economy is doing, and it's not unless you're super rich. So just do the best you can, get that debt paid down. All right, last one goes back to something else that we were just talking about, which is the possibility of unemployment skyrocketing in the next 5-10 years, which I think we all need to be diversifying our skill set, right? So it's not going to be a great idea. It might actually be downright dangerous to only have one skill set or one trade that you excel at. So you need to start thinking about how do I diversify this skill set? How do I come up with some options in case my job falls apart, in case I get laid off, right? What else can I do to create some income? And I know that's boring, but it's the reality of the recession that we're living in right now. Folks, I hope you found this helpful. If you got anything of value out of this, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Do me a favor and share this out with all your friends. I don't typically ask that, but anything that's even remotely political is now getting shadow banned on most social media. So I'm asking you genuinely, if you're in my audience and you're on other platforms, go ahead and share this out on Rumble and Mew and Truth and X, anywhere else that you might be, just to help us out a little bit. I do think financial preparedness is a topic that we all need to be thinking about, so your help is going to be greatly appreciated here. Don't forget to check in the description down below for discount codes on some products in preparedness that I think you will appreciate. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.